Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, April 30th. I'm Patricia Malone.
And I'm Melissa Wright. Thanks for joining us. The governor's reception room in Annapolis was a beehive of activity this morning as Governor Larry Hogan signed 174 bills into law. The governor was joined by Senate President Mike Miller and Speaker Pro Tem Adrian Jones for the ceremony. The bills that were signed include tax breaks and incentives for investors who create jobs in any of the state's 149 opportunity zones. Another bill signed into law will expand the University of Maryland Board of Regents by adding 4 additional members. It also calls for open sessions to be live streamed, and another new law will increase lead abatement efforts in Maryland.
We've done a great job in getting rid of lead paint in rental units. So this bill, the one that I sponsored and that's going to be signed today, this bill then says if a child tests positive for lead paint, it probably isn't the house. We need to figure out where it is. It could be the playground. It could be water, the water fountains in school. So I have charged MDE to find out where that lead is.
The Department of the Environment will be tasked with establishing procedures for conducting the environmental investigations.
All eyes will be on Annapolis tomorrow as the House votes for its next speaker. Members of the Legislative Black Caucus emerged from a closed-door meeting yesterday to announce that they're putting their support behind Delegate Derek Davis of Prince George's County. Davis faces Delegate Maggie McIntosh of Baltimore City in the race to replace Michael Bush, who died earlier this month. Some of the members of the Black Caucus have accused Caucus Chair Darrell Barnes of referring to McIntosh as, quote, a white lesbian. He denies making that comment. Lawmakers say they're not surprised that the race has hit some bumps and snags.
That's to be expected. There's a lot at stake. You know, I mean, many of us have, this is the first time we've had this opportunity to vote for the speaker, you know, for a vacant speakership position. So, you know, looking forward to it. It's incumbent upon the person who becomes speaker on tomorrow to make sure that, you know, the Democratic caucus is where it needs to be. The entire House of Delegates is where it needs to be. So.
Davis's opponent, Maggie McIntosh, hosted a conference call this afternoon during which she spoke about her legislative agenda if elected as Speaker. McIntosh says that she will be known as the Education Speaker because schools will be her top priority.
The Deputy U.S. Attorney General steps down from his post at the Justice Department. Rod Rosenstein made the announcement on Monday. Rosenstein's tenure has been embedded in controversy after appointing former FBI Director Robert Mueller as special counsel to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. His resignation will go into effect on May 11th. Rosenstein also served as the U.S. Attorney General for Maryland for more than 10 years. At the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial lies the names of men and women who died in the line of duty. This year, almost 400 names will be formally dedicated at the 31st annual Candlelight Vigil on May 13th. Our very own Keisha Buss visited the memorial ahead of the event.
It's about the only job where you go out in the morning and you really don't know if you come back.
Jim Lee has been inscribing names of fallen cops on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial for nearly 3 decades.
You have to realize there's a story behind every name. You know, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, grandchildren. So there's a story behind every name. And that's what I think about when we're doing it.
This year, Lee and his partner are adding 371 names that will be formally dedicated at the 31st annual Candlelight Vigil, May 13th.
All the surviving family members come in.
158 police officers died in 2018. Right behind me at the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial are the names of more than 21,000 officers who died in the line of duty. Lee says this is a way to honor these heroes.
They do a wonderful job. I don't know where this country would be without them.
Robin Fight, a retired deputy sheriff, says this memorial gives her a chance to honor those she once knew.
I have several deputies that were killed in the line of duty. One that I knew, his father real good, who was my lieutenant. And I wanted to make sure I found his name and just put it, honor him.
It's a place where Americans, anybody in the world, can come to pay respect to the law enforcement officers that have died in defense of this country.
As for Lee and countless others, these are more than just names. In Washington, D.C., Keisha Betts, CTV News.
The candlelight vigil will be held at 8 p.m. on the National Mall between 7th and 12th Streets in Washington, D.C.
Former U.S. Marine and Kentland firefighter Chris Slutman was buried at Arlington National Cemetery this morning. Slutman was killed earlier this month when his convoy hit a roadside bomb in Afghanistan. He spent several years working with fire departments here in Prince George's, the District, and New York. A memorial service to honor his life and legacy is set for tomorrow, May 1st, at the Bob Carpenter Center on the campus of the University of Delaware. Now, Slutman is survived by his wife and 3 daughters. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Melissa Nice. Right.